What's up, everybody? Logan here again with another small account update with Vance. We took it really slow this week, as you guys probably would expect. And it's something we talked about the prior week was why we hit it so hard, being up 3.29%. And we were up almost 1% this week. We put one trade on and we end up rolling it. So we rolled it till Wednesday just because of the downward price action of the week. But like we said, we didn't want to put on too much risk this week. Our plan was just to make a small amount of profit because of Powell on Wednesday and Friday. And Wednesday, it was the rate hike. The market did not like the information based on sell-off. And now we're at some really key levels, right? And Vance and I were talking about that where, either the floodgates are going to open or we're going to retrace a little bit. We had a nice hammer on Friday, a really nice candle on the daily chart. So, yeah, there's a lot that we're going to unpack about that, but I appreciate you coming on for another video, Vance.
Hey, not a problem, Logan. So yeah, like you said, we took it very conservative this week. We only took one trade, which we did roll a couple times. It will probably come out as a winner next week because one way or another, this market is going to definitively move in the next 5 days. So if it moves the direction we're planning, we'll be out of it in a couple days. If we have to manage it again, we can definitively do that. So, but yeah, like you said, we took it easy. We'll be probably a little bit more aggressive next week because it really should be a big week. And like you said, we're going to look at the charts real quick. So this here is a daily chart of SPX. And I know there's a lot of lines over here. But I'm going to kind of go over it. So these yellow lines here are daily support lines. And then I've got some blue lines here, which are hourly supports. And then we've got this red line down here, which is kind of like the red line of doom, if you will. It signifies pretty much the low buying point historically that's been at this level. So you can see that we touched our low again yesterday. We actually hit the red line. And last time we did that was back here in June, where we hit it twice, 2 days in a row. And then we bounced off it, and then we kind of became this big ascent all the way up here till we reached almost coming out of a bear market. We actually were, I think, 15 to 20 points away from actually clearing the 20% from the low, which was down here. That's needed to get out of the bear market. And it just rejected right before it hit that level. And it began this downturn, which is by this white trend line, which we've pretty much respected the entire way down, back down to where we're here. So my thoughts at this point are twofold. A lot of the indicators are indicating that things are bad, right? You can see that the MACD on the way down has been expanding. The ADX, which is one of the things I like to use, is strong selling strength going up and buying strength coming down. The trend support line, or the strength support, I should say, is going up. The Chopin oscillator, which is another one of the indicators I like to use, it is coming down. It's about to cross the zero line. Those are all indicators that there's strong selling coming, that we're either already in it or that it's going to continue, which would be my expectation as well. That being said, the levels that we're at, sometimes there's a very high degree of psychological input that comes into this. And sometimes at these levels, technical analysis, I don't say is worthless, but it holds less relevance because psychologically, if buyers are going to come in, they're going to come in droves. They don't want to come in droves. Obviously, the sellers are going to come in droves. So really, with the way this setup is at, Monday is going to be key. If we have a Monday like this that gives us a spinning top or a nice gap up, because we've got a gap here. We actually did fill a gap over here. So actually this, I guess, is not actually a gap. It's actually a gap fill. But if we get a gap up going into Monday, or a strong green spinning top, there's a very good chance that we will retrace at least up to this trend line, where then at that point, the market will make another decision. Do we want to go down? We have a false breakout like we did here and then drop. If Monday opens up red and falls below or breaks the day below this red line, which is about 36.46, yeah, that would be very bad. I would say if it actually breaks and holds this line for the day, there's a very strong chance that this will drop down into the next levels of support. And we do have to go back quite a ways. Again, we're going back to January of 2021 to look and see where a lot of these support lines started to formulate. And one of the things that you'll see, and if you were trading back then, we went really from the COVID drop. We really went from lows after the COVID drop to these levels relatively quickly. And there's not a lot of strong structural support in some of these levels until we get down to the 3200s, where we start to actually get a lot of support, like down over here and over here. I don't have lines drawn up on this chart particular, but if we close below this level, it could be indicative of a strong drop that's coming sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and you can see the one really interesting thing about this is there's that really crazy false breakout that happened in early September.
Yep.
Like when after that first leg down off 4,300, when all that buying came in at 39.20, and you can see it like break out of your trend line, and then the very day opened a new gap, and then had one of the biggest red Tuesdays, and then ever since then, even this week we had a really nasty Friday until the end of the day, right? We did end up coming back up to where we didn't close over, a 2% red day. And then also Wednesday was pretty nasty with a lot of chop and all that. So, yeah, we've had a very interesting week, like Vance was saying, and we're coming into this kind of oh shit moment for the market where it's like, do we hold this and technically double bottom here, right? If we bounce back up, into the old trend line and then see if that breaks out? Or is this the type of thing where it breaks it Monday and can't get back above it, and then we're not looking good at all? So there's a lot, and that's why we've been reducing our risk during this time, because this is probably the hardest part of the bear market, is trading this part right here, because you have so many people that are exhausted from buying, selling, like everything they've been doing. They're just completely exhausted throughout this whole year mentally, and we're at the psychological level. So you're going to see more irrational and I think emotional decision making coming this week.
Absolutely.
And I agree with you. I think it's going to be a big week. I think it's going to do, the last 2 weeks have been big weeks, right? And I think that's what we're going to see again is, some sort of big week here. So this is a really interesting time, but I would say my prediction is that we bounce back up around that 3,800 level from where, which is a good 100 points. And then I think from there, it's going to take me another day to reassess. But that's what I think the future is from here. Is we're going to get a nice 100-point rally. We're going to fill that gap that's above us, and then once that's filled, Mark, that's what Mark wants, right? Like more things to keep people indecisive, which is, go close those gaps and put us back at the psychological level. So, we've had a lot of heavy selling, and I think it's time that we reverse the trend a little bit. But then, we could go down to that 3,400, maybe even 3,200 to reset. And Goldman Sachs cut their price target down to
3,600.
600, yeah, for the year.
Yep.
By years.
No, I agree completely. I mean, my projection for the week, and that one of the reasons why I extended out this white trend line to the end of the month, the beginning of October, is that should cover most of next week. My expectation would be over the next 5 days by Friday to return to this level. So obviously, the more days it takes to get back to that level, the lower it has to do to retrace. So if it retraces by Friday, it would be somewhere around 83.63, give or take, assuming it doesn't break out past it. So if it does a little bit sooner, I think we recover back to 3,900 probably next week. I really think we'll get a couple big days. But again, that's just going to depend upon, do the buyers. I think there's a degree of seller exhaustion I think there's a degree of buyer exhaustion. Um, so, the key thing is that, this yellow line I've drawn here, this was the old kind of like trend support that I had drawn way back when.
Yep.
And you can kind of see how it held on this move down before it broke. So, and then when it broke, it then became the top resistance, if you will, on the daily for most of the week this week. So that would, if it continues its trace out, that's going to put it somewhere over here. So the question then at that point is, if these follow, usually when you get these trend line crosses, obviously one of them ceases to exist. It becomes irrelevant. So the question is that if it gets back up to this point, which is 3,900, give or take a couple points, what's the market going to do when it gets back to that 3,900 level? Is it going to decide, all right, we're going to continue to go back up, or are we going to reject and come back down? So yeah, this is going to be a really big week, I think, for the market. And the best thing is if you're not directionally trading from the standpoint of you're taking every day as it comes, and you're trading zero DTE style, you're not having a longer term outlook on things. So you're a little bit more free with your choices. You can really take advantage no matter what direction the market moves, right? You're not set up in this thing where you don't want to go up or you don't want it to go down. You're directionally trading, but you're directionally trading at that moment as opposed to the long game.
Absolutely. Was that everything you wanted to touch on in this video?
I believe it was, sir.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that's everything for us in this one, guys. We did have a shorter and smaller week this week because Powell kept us out of the markets on Wednesday and Friday. I did hit all my zero DTEs though, which was nice. But yeah, we did the small count challenge. It would have expired worthless, but I did decide to roll it. And we're still in that roll. So that's everything for us in this video. Make sure you guys leave a like and a comment below. If you guys want to come join the challenge, the link is in the description for the Discord. We always have a lot of good stuff going on in there either way. So that's going to be everything for us in this video. And I appreciate all the support, and we will see you guys in the next video.